From Reuters, much earlier in the year, I might add. World Bank working with countries to resolve vaccine legal hurdles. Seems innocent enough when you start to read the article. The World Bank is working closely with over 100 countries to pave the way for them to receive low interest loans and funding to purchase and distribute COVID-19 vaccines. World Bank Group President David Malpass told reporters on Tuesday. Okay, that's understandable. If this is an effort that's truly something which has to be handled on a global scale, then one would think the logical step for the World Bank to take is ensuring that these countries which may not have the resources to distribute such a vaccine or medication would help facilitate that in order to stop the crisis. Because we're seeing world leaders, we're seeing people that are key politicians in countries say that the only way out of this crisis is by mass vaccination. Like literally, that's the only way that this is going to end. Mass vaccination. So then you continue reading the article and see that World Bank officials were working with countries to address one of the key obstacles. Rules that leave vaccine makers open for lawsuits and judgments. Something that the United States government has shielded the vaccine makers from. They cannot be sued. They cannot be held liable for any sort of damages resulting from the application of their medications. There's really not much to be said here because it's entirely self-explanatory. These companies are hesitant. They see it as an obstacle that they may be held accountable as it relates to the application of their medication to the citizens of a country. So let me just ask one thing. If what we're being told about the safety, effectiveness, and reliability of this medication is true, and if all of these government leaders seem to agree that the only way to end the crisis is through mass vaccination, don't you think that the companies who create the medicine would be confident in their products enough to accept the risk of lawsuit and judgment? Don't you think that if it is as safe as they say, and the only way to establish a normal life again for citizens across the world is through applying this medicine, that they would be overwhelmingly ready to take accountability for any damages that occur? Because we're being told that it's so incredibly safe and that the risks are so minute that they don't come anywhere near the benefit of applying it so that we can exit this crisis situation. It doesn't add up. You apply basic logic to this and it falls apart. These companies who are mass distributing their medicine are scared. They are scared. This is seen as a key obstacle as highlighted by World Bank officials and reported by Reuters. I worked for Thomson Reuters for years. I actually thought that what I did for that company was good. I worked in the technology department and felt like I was contributing something to the world by helping a news outlet facilitate and grow as a business. So this isn't an unreliable news source. It's literally coming from the World Bank. This isn't a conspiracy. This is being reported widely on a global scale that vaccine producers are too scared to distribute their safe and effective product because they think they are potentially going to face lawsuits and judgments and be held liable. So again, if the risk of side effect and problems is so low, why the hesitancy? One more thing I'll point out about hesitancy. There was a poll which it highlighted the group most prominent in their vaccine hesitancy. And that group of individuals were PhD, doctorate level educated individuals. What is one thing that you have to do in order to receive your PhD? You have to love data. You have to pore over data as though your life depends on it. And one of the biggest issues that many people have as it relates to vaccine hesitancy is the lack of data. That's one of my biggest problems with this entire situation. There is no long-term data that supports the safety and effectiveness, and you cannot simulate time in a way that reflects the actual passage of time. So there is no long-term data available, and you have these doctorate level educated individuals who had just coincidentally happen to be the largest group of hesitant of anyone in the world. If you don't see the correlation here, then I'm sorry. Maybe you just need to start thinking more critically. It's just so brazen. This stuff is just shocking me. And the thing is, most people don't even have the ability or know how, or they just don't care about going out and reading about what's happening. And look, I'm late to the game here. This was released almost a year ago. But just because it was released a year ago doesn't change the fact that the World Bank officials see a key obstacle to distributing vaccines in certain countries because they fear lawsuit or judgment.